Every week we argue on the order. So go on, T-Codes.
Alright, cool. Oh shoot, sorry. Yo, it's your boy T Cobs. You dead there, you already know. Hey, I forgot my intro. I forgot how it goes. But yeah, I'm here. Live, we're back.
Every week, lads. Every week we have this discussion.
It's been a while. We haven't done the intro in a while. But yeah, this might be a new one. You guys get me? Let me know. But who else do we have in here?
Yo, what's good? What's up? It's your boy Major, live and direct.
Right, man, so short and sweet, okay? Yeah. It's Magnum Pappy today, maybe Juve Pappy tomorrow. Like, I remember my intro. T-Cobbs forgot his t-shirt and his intro, but you have to keep it moving.
That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Okay.
Who else have we got in the building?
You already know it is Bello. It's your boy CJXY. You already know the vibes. Listen, you welcome to the GDS Podcast. You already know it is. We are the girl them sugar. You know the grind don't stop, and we already get that schmoolah. Today we are in here with some very special guests. We told you we was bringing you guests.
Special.
We finally did it. It took us a while to get everyone organized. Well, not this actual one. It's more us ourselves getting organized, but you know how we do. Today we have got some. I'll give them a brief intro and then I'll let them introduce themselves. They are part of an amazing project that has literally rose to number 2 in the iTunes hip hop charts in Ireland and number 5 on the overall album charts. They have it's an amazing collection of artists from the Great Owl. So I would let them introduce themselves. It is Bernard M, Aideen, and Jordxn.
What's up?
Hello.
What's
Yeah.
happening?
Thanks for having us.
Excited to be on, yeah.
So yeah, this is not going to be like any professional interview you'll ever have because we are not professional.
Speak for yourself. Speak for your damn self.
George, speak for your damn self.
Come correct with me.
But listen.
That's it, bro. You tell them.
Listen, first things first though, congratulations on the project.
Thank you.
Oh, look at that. The professional setup is already
Falling apart.
Yeah, it's good.
God, don't let me unmute myself. No.
But first of all, Bernard, congratulations on the project, obviously as the lead on the project. So talk to us about it, man. Talk to us how it came about. What's happened? How did you get to?
Stop! It's a mad old story, isn't it? Well, like, congratulations to everybody who was a part of it, genuinely, because like it wouldn't be what it is without all the other artists that came on and literally gave it their all, gave it everything. Do you know that way? Like it's been a mad journey and one of the best decisions that I've ever made, I think, so far in on the road. It started off well. I had a few bars there, like, at the start of 2020, and I didn't really know what to do with them. I was kind of like lost, so I was thinking I'm going to like collab with a few artists because I knew a lot of artists and I seen the same was kind of like lacking in the whole communal base. Like there wasn't a lot of people supporting each other when it came to other artists and stuff. So I wanted to try and find the best artists that I could find that were genuinely good, talking real stuff, and like that I could connect with on a personal level as well, to be on the album. It was a mad. Where was it? What was I saying there?
And the mad thing, like getting everybody together and everybody like you were working with a person, getting to know them on a personal level.
Oh no, yeah, like that's what the main reason why I created Comix to. It was like the start of Wave, and then it really showed effect when we did the Take It Out on Yourself music video, because everyone turned up and everyone showed up for that, and like everyone got to meet with each other. And since then, there's been a lot of great connections, a lot of songs made, a lot of future projects bound to come. Like, and I think we're all backing each other like already. So like I think there's been a great big start there. Yeah, it's been a mad scene. It really has. The Comix album, it stands for Collaboration Mixtape. If you don't already know, Comix Collaboration Mixtape. So it's I don't take full credit for the name as well. MackerRhymes, he sorted me out with a nice hook for the name. But
Shout out
Yeah.
MackerRhymes.
shout out MackerRhymes. You should be on soon as well.
Shout out Macca for real.
Yeah, he's an unbelievable artist. It's really good. Yeah, there's so much words I could say about comics. It's mad because it started off as something and then it turned into something else and then it expanded and then it grew and then everyone jumped on board and then it just went. It was mad. Like to see everyone behind it. It was amazing. Like
Nah, that's dope. That is super dope. So we've all listened to the tape and like unbelievable. And what I will do first is because we have got the two people who was track one on the mixtape, I just want to talk to you both. First and foremost, how the collaboration came about. What was it like working with each other? And yeah, man, just tell us a bit about that, man.
I'll let you go first, Jordan.
Do you want to take that? Bollocks, right? Okay, so I don't know, out of nowhere. So I've always known Bernard. So obviously I'm only kind of new to this. I still call myself like a baby into this game. Maybe at the start of lockdown is when I only started rapping. I'm pretty quick into it. Bernard was always very helpful and very kind of supportive immediately, without even knowing who I was, without meeting me. Just I'm always very supportive. You know, always sharing stuff, always, you know, replying to stuff. Yo, this is cold, this is savage, all this kind of stuff. And then he messaged me one day, or actually I'll backtrack a little bit. When I was on the television for the St. Patrick's Festival, Bernard was texting me being like, "Oh, bro, I'm so fucking proud of you." You're like, "Oh, I don't even know you." But you were like, "I don't even know you, but I'm so fucking proud of you." And
I love when
I was like, this dude is sick. This dude's dope.
People in the scene are doing well. It drives me, especially when like I don't know. I feel like I know them on a personal level already. Like I think I've got to know the people from the album, and like I'd love to see everybody, somebody get some great successes. Like genuinely, all of them, everyone.
Yeah,
for sure, man.
So that kind of came about, and then I think someone pulled out of the album for Bernard, and he texted me saying, "Look, you interested?" I was like, immediately, no questions, down for it. Okay, so then
you were always I have to say real quick, you were always there just for the you were always on the list. There's a list of people in my notes there for comics, and there was genuinely about 30 names on the list. I'm not messing. And then I did some shopping and I did some really I looked into a few of the names and stuff, and not all the artists were set for each song. So like the person dropped out, so it was okay in that way. Like there was still room because there was a lot of artists there that were going to be asked again for Comics Volume 2, which will be coming out again. That's another situation, you know that way. But because that artist dropped out, I think it was the best opportunity. It was the best thing that could have happened because getting Jordan on that track opened up so many other opportunities. Like it made myself have a new mate, you know that way. Like I know Jordan now, the two of us, we have future plans, we have videos, we have a lot of things coming. Like so, I think it was the best thing to happen for the comics album. Like so, everything happened for a reason, genuinely.
Yeah, I think it was what Bernard, the quickest verse he ever got back ever. He sent me the beat. And
stop! I sent him the beat, and he
5
literally.
minutes later, I'm like, I'm done.
I swear to God, I was rolling the smoke, and he was 5 minutes after I rolled the smoke. He was like, "I'm done, bro." I was like, "Fuck off, you're not done."
Finished, done, signed off. But yeah, that's how that kind of
just
came
saying,
about.
Macker's there, fucking.
Yeah, no,
Macker
just about to introduce him. So we have also as well got Mr. MackerRhymes in the cut as well. I think he's on. I think he's just on. He's taking a little break, and he's joining us, which we greatly appreciate. So yeah, man, shout yourself, Macker. I think you're on mute, but shout yourself.
You're on mute, bro. I think.
Yeah, he's on mute.
That mic's on mute, bro.
Can't hear you, bro.
You can't hear you, bro.
Yeah, you can hear me now, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Oh, I had to take a quick 10-minute break, boys. I'm up to my eyeballs here in town, like, do you know what I mean? But I said it's not something I'm going to miss, do you know what I mean? Big up to the Bernard fella, big up to comics, everybody 100%. Involved. It's good to see us.
Good. I'll let one of the boys ask you a question because we all got questions.
Yeah, of course, we'll go ahead.
on Olga. So I listened to it yesterday, innit? To be fair, I'm more into lyrics, innit? So
Yeah.
I was trying to really get a hold of the lyrics more so than the beats and stuff. But I know it's like particular songs have similarities to other artists. Like for me, when I listen to Certainty, I felt Ed Sheeran vibes. So
Absolutely.
I just wanted to know if there's any artists behind particular songs that you kind of not maybe look for inspiration because obviously you're all your own, but if there's any artists that you kind
Well,
of their flow.
me myself grew up on a lot of like singing kind of underground stuff. I used to love me swaying in the morning, the freestyles, the Tim Westwoods and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And it was always really about lyrics. It was about like writing a good story. It was about putting a smile on people's faces. It was about cracking a laugh every now and then. You know, that kind of way. And as much as I do take the music very seriously, and I'm trying to make a big career of myself, I also don't want to take myself too serious. You know what I mean? I don't want to get to the point where it's all quite like either really sad or all the same kind of dancey stuff or really drilly. I like to spice it up a little bit with a few funny bars and good lyrics in there, you know, that kind of way. I think Bernard picked a really nice beat for me, did, because for the pages beat I actually loved it. I did. I heard it, and I know I come in with me like bricks on bricks. That's like a little trademark thing that I have in a lot of my songs and stuff like. And other than that, it's like I do like to tell a story at the same time. I don't like to kind of just go off on metaphors and alliteration and stuff and kind of have these like funny bars written if they don't make sense, you know, that kind of way. Like I like
he's one of the most intellectual writers that I know, definitely.
I'd agree with that,
I appreciate that, but it has to kind of tell a story. It can't just be punchline after punchline after punchline, if you ask me. Because although they're good, they need to kind of relate to me. It's like I tell a lot of stories about myself, like that people might not kind of gather, because it's like it's more hidden underneath these kind of metaphors. It's hidden underneath these funny punchlines and stuff. And if you really have a listen, and if you really hear what I'm telling you, you get to know more, like a little bit more about MackerRhymes and stuff. And like I feel like the type of music I'm making is really to be listened to. It's not just once or twice, and regardless of the beat, you know what I mean? I feel like if people kind of sit and give the lyrics a chance, that they might find that they enjoy it. Like, do you know what I mean? And I know a lot of people on this album do the same thing as well. Majority of us, do you know what I mean? I think Bernard brought together a great group of writers, not just musicians, but of writers, of people who really know what they're doing, people who can wrap their lyrics around the beat and tell a great story. And, you know, from start to finish, the whole Comix album, it is a story, you know what I mean? It has a little bit of each of our lives in there, depending on who's collabing on each song. It obviously has Bernard's whole life and career down the line from track 1 to the end, do you know what I mean? But no, definitely, like I do believe lyrics hold a very strong point in the kind of scene that we're in and stuff, and I believe like writing like that is probably one of the best ways. And big up to the Bernard fella for that as well, and of course for having me as well.
Yeah, I got quick question. So
back to just what you were saying about the certainty thing. Not all the songs, like I do have inspirations, of course, like, but not all the songs were inspired. They kind of all really came from me, like in that way, like around creating them. Like I got certain vibes from certain ones, like one or two of the flows from Sinners Undercover. I thought is like, I don't want to say it, sounds big-headed, but like, you know, like the J. Cole vibe. I'm not saying you know that way, like, and then some of the like the certainty. It was kind of more. Funny you say Ed Sheeran, because I genuinely, he's an inspirational one. Obviously, growing up, and Ed Sheeran's one of the goats. Like, but he actually wasn't in my mind when I was writing or recording certainty at all. It was more like the original Real Boys. It was more like an acoustic rap session. Because Luke Dunn, student, other artist that's on that track.
Boys, I'm really sorry to interrupt you, Bernard. I'm gonna have to fly back to work, everybody. So, absolute thank you very much for having me.
No worries,
No, I don't mean to
Come on
interrupt.
again,
I just
Troy,
gotta
pop
put
on.
them back before I give it out. I told you I'd make it on, but look, thank you very much for having me a part of it.
Take care,
for having
man.
me a part of the album, of
Peace,
course,
man.
Bernard. An absolute
No
pleasure, everybody.
problem.
Right? Enjoy,
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
Look after yourself, man.
No problem at all,
Yeah,
boys.
brother.
Bye bye.
Right. Short and sweet.
It sounds like they're in town there. You know?
Yeah. I thought he was out. That's what I thought he meant.
Yeah,
he was out like
partying or
fair play
something.
though.
No, he's in work. He popped out with a smoke break. He might come back on again. He's
Yeah.
mad. He is dedication. But anyway, fucking yeah, there wasn't that many. Like I think I don't know if there was really that much outside inspiration from my lyrics. I think it was mainly just myself and what came out. I think at the time when I think most of the lyrics, one of the main things, like one of the most annoying things for the Comix album, which is the only annoying thing really, is that most of my bars that were written were wrote like at the start of 2020, and I had them for a while. And I think when I released the Comix album, I've already I think I've already leveled up in me wordplay, me lyrics and writing and everything about it, like, and performance, even deliverance. Like I've leveled up in so many different ways since then that I feel like people are only thinking I'm on that level now because I've released Comix. They don't understand you. So this is what I don't want to rush it, and I want to let Comix do its thing. And I think it's one of the best things, and it's like my child, like it really is. But I can't wait to then start bringing in new things, because there's a lot of things coming that you wouldn't even expect, like vocal tracks. There's a lot of I don't even know where to start with you. Like genuinely, there's so many songs, there's so many great things to come. Like,
That's it.
mm,
Quickly with the album, I've noticed that obviously you've done eight songs on it. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask, is there a reason why you chose to do like eight? Because I know normally albums are quite longer than that. Is it just because of the time we're in?
Yeah.
What
it was the Comix was originally 17 songs, 18 songs. And,
okay. Yeah.
It was, like I said, with the whole leveling up, with the whole like getting better and improving in myself, I just wanted to get at least half of the tracks out there, so then I could spend more time on the other half of the album, and kind of like I didn't want people waiting too long for bars that were so old in that way. Like I wanted to keep it fresh in that way. So I split the album in two, and I got the songs that I thought was the most solid, and I put them in the order that are specific in that order for a reason. Just to like there's volume 2 coming out, so that's why I put the volume 1 on this, because volume 2 will come out at the start of next year, maybe the end of this year, with a whole new set of tracks, another 8 or another 9, which will create the Comix album then, like the full collaboration project. Do you get me?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So as an album, it's two two half albums really, like, so
yeah,
this is the first half.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah, because I was thinking if you're doing a short amount of albums, it means you got something coming up pretty soon. I was going to ask you that next, but you've answered it.
Yeah, so. there's a few things coming out soon. There's a handful of videos to come from the Comix album, definitely soon. We have another single with COT coming out, MPH. We have a video coming for that. It's probably one of the best flows so far on one of the tracks. I think I like it really much. Like, I think that I did really well, and so did Corey on it. I think we really did. Like, the video's a banger as well. Like, a lot. It just happened down nowhere. We recorded it in the car. It was like a car freestyle. Then the video, we were gonna do it in his car, just a little small freestyle video, and then it just blew up, and we got another fella down with a car, drop top. He drove us around on the back of it and stuff. And the stuff that happened, people, it was just mad. I won't spoil too much for me, but there's a few things coming, like the videos, that song. There's a vocal EP coming. I really don't know a date, but it's soon. I just want to make sure that's perfect. That's more vocals, just sing songs. There's a lot coming.
Ooh.
Before Comix too as well, in that way, because like as I said, like I'm not a rapper. I'm a musician. Like I like to I play music, other instruments, and I actually write music and stuff, like, so I don't want to spend too much time solely on rap. So I want to give a break between Comix Volume 1 and Volume 2 to like kind of divide it with vocal songs and more different vibes in between, and then come back with Comix Volume 2 and then some more raps. Like, there's still raps in between the two albums, but like it won't be solely focusing on rap, if that makes sense.
No, that's it. My question is kind of like on the back of that. Like, as you mentioned, like, you're not just a rapper, like, you're a musician. So I just wanted to kind of understand like a bit more about your like own personal like creative process, and just both of you obviously just tell us like how do you sit, both of you, how, like, when you sit down, like, what's your kind of process, like, start to finish, to create like a piece of art, you know what I mean?
Who wants to take that?
It's always
first?
Different. It really does depend. Yeah, you take that one, Jordan, first if you want.
Creative process. Well, man, I'm still trying to put my finger on it. You know, 14, 15 months only into writing music, from writing to release, and that's it. 14, 15 months. And I'm still finding different ways. I've had tracks that I've sat down and I'd be sent the beat and like 3 seconds straight away. Okay, that's it. I'm in. Mic on, press record, and I'll just fuck around with flows and you'll catch some bars off the freestyle, and then I'd have that track done in 3 to 5 minutes, recorded, done, ready to be sent to my producer to mix it up. And then there's other tracks that I've sat on for months where every few weeks I'd go back and I'd pencil in another verse or another 2 verses, and both become good tracks. But I don't think there's any actual method to the perfect track, if you want to call it. I think it's all very, that's what art is. It's all very spontaneous, and when you look at like the Vincent van Gogh when he sat down to paint the Starry Night, I doubt he just knew that that's what he wanted to do. I'm sure he kind of played around with the paint and kind of had an idea and then added in, and then it became what it was today. That's
like,
why we're called art. That's why we're called artists.
Yeah, quickly, Jordan.
That's behind the whole Comix album. It's like I didn't know how it was gonna happen. I remember being out the back garden saying it was gonna be creating stuff, but I didn't have an idea. I had a goal, but I didn't have an idea of how to get to that goal. And I kind of just took each day as a new obstacle, and it kind of let me create. So I just take over, and I don't know how it happened, but after a while of just recording things and getting things down and taking each day by day, it just ended up happening. So like, I think that is what Jordan was saying. Like, it doesn't just, you don't always have a mad plan and follow it and this is how it is, because it's art. Like, it happens spontaneously, and God knows what could happen in the end. You know what I mean?
So do you prefer to like have 8 bars or just like rhythm in your head and then kind of just rapping and go with the melody, or do you write it down most of the time? Like,
I go off the flow myself. I go off the flow.
Okay.
Flow comes first.
Yeah.
So a lot of time, my rough demos are normally literally like mumble rapping, like literally just just finding that flow patterns and little pockets, and you fuck around with different flows then over the same part of the songs. Then you're like, I like this flow, so flow A and flow B and then flow A again. And then it's just kind of inserting words that'll suit the beat. And that's what works best for me. But then there's other times where I've literally just wrote, I hear the first, clip, I know the BPM to it, the rhythm to it, and I can write the whole song to it. And that still works out well. That's what I'm saying. It's all for
it depends on the beat, depends on how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Got you.
Exactly.
Depends on a lot of things.
Yeah, 100%.
There's not only one route to it, you know what I mean? The amount of different ways it could come.
Right.
Yeah. This year, I think, has been a big year for the women of hip hop, most definitely. And you had a track with 2 on the same song, which usually you find a lot of artists are almost, like, in my experience, they're not scared to do it, but they're hesitant to do it just for one reason or another. But you had 2, and the track absolutely bodied it. Like, so congratulations to both Aideen and Sham on bodying that track as well. That was super dope. Just wanted to talk through like how that song came about. I want to kind of hear it from Aideen's perspective. Like, so obviously Bernard's put into this mixtape. So how does he call you up and say, I've got a track for you, or what happens? How does that come about?
I think Corby texted me first and said, I have a friend and he's working on an album. Would you like to work on it? And he was like, he's collabing with a load of different artists from Ireland. And I was like, I'm really interested in that. I'd love that. And then Bernard texted me then. And the first time we ever spoke was over Furs and Illusion. It was first called Furs and Illusion. And then he changed it to the Illusion of Fear. Yeah. But and then he sent me over the beat and just said, write 16 bars. So I wrote 16 bars around that concept and just sent it back to him. And that was it then. So he just texted me and said, I was meant to be on volume 2 originally.
Yeah, and like said, it doesn't all happen like planned.
And then he literally then texted me and said, no, you're on volume 1 now, could you do it, have you got time? And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And we went to the studio and it was literally just, the energy in the room was unbelievable for it.
Yeah, it was very comfortable straight away.
Yeah, straight away. Then Shemaine came in and she bodied it as well. It was crazy. Like, we had a great time.
Yeah, no, you can tell there was a high, you can tell, like, all the boys would agree with me as well. You can tell when the energy in the studio is high, like when you can hear the collaboration. And for me, one of my things, I never want to force collaborations, like, and I think even with our podcast as well, we don't want to bring people in just for the sake of it, because we're like, so you can hear that, like, just on that track as well as all the others as well, you can hear there's like some sort of harmony and there's like some sort of like well
I think that's
working
why it took so long to
together.
get people on the album as well, though, because I wanted to create like a bond almost before getting them on the album in that way, like, you know, that way, like that I asked them, but then how long did it take for us to actually record it? Because we were talking before that and we were coming up with other things, and
we actually went down to the Take It Out in Yourself video, myself and Shambam, and when we went in, that was our first time meeting everybody else on the album,
including myself, actually.
Yeah, including Bernard actually, and it was like walking into a room of people we already knew, and it was so comfortable. Everybody was just on the same wavelength and just wanting to create and help one another and networking, you know, and that's what it's all kind of about in our scene, because it's so small, to help it grow and get to know one another.
Yeah, we need to.
Nah, definitely.
Maybe to shut it up, that's it.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I said,
Bernard's a big pioneer in that as well. Like, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't all know each other. Like, there's artists now I'm collabing with that I didn't know before this. I only knew them from social media, and there was no connections or anything. So fair play to him for actually opening that up for all of us and putting us all on the album.
It opened a lot up for myself as well. Like, it was great. It's one of the best things that I think, as a collective, that we could have done. It's
what I say to people before Bernard walked in, I felt like there was like just a lot of wolves. Everybody's just trying to get their little bit. Like, there's a lot of individual wolves. I feel like Bernard walked in and just went, right, everybody come here, you know, and just kind of as Aideen was saying, when I rocked up for the Take It Out in Your music video, you know, Bernard was there, Paulie there, all the lads there, and everybody knew each other, you know, we're all on the scene but never really kind of talked to each other. And then, like, straight away, Macker was like, "What's up, bro? I feel like I already know you." Like, literally, first thing he says to me, and then it just does that, but just brought that lovely group together, and that was that, like.
Yeah, because it feels like you guys have known each other probably like from college or uni, or like just from the same neighborhood or something.
No.
Literally, I was thinking.
That's what I feel like. I feel like that boy, but
this is literally our fourth time sitting down and meeting each other, and like, you know what I mean.
Mad.
But I feel like we'd have conversations over things, and we're like, how were you not my friend ages ago? Because like, we're all into the same things, and you know, so it's crazy. Like,
it is mad to think, like, the bond that's being created with all the artists. It's mad, it is.
That is dope. Right now, the other three boys in GDS are not familiar with the Irish scene as much as someone who's in it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put you lot on the spot. I'm gonna put all three of you on the spot.
Oh, he's gonna do us dirty.
Oh, bollocks. Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
I'm gonna do you lot that. I'm gonna do. And listen, you're not allowed to say people that you have either collabed with or are on the album. So other than the people that you haven't collabed with on the album, I need 5 names from each of you of people to look out for in the Irish scene. And this is what we want to do. Listen, we're putting people on
5 names is there's a
Holy
lot.
Shit, yeah.
Go pick.
Wait, Aideen, no.
Right, I'll go first. So 5 names to put you onto, yeah?
But not.
Well,
bring us in.
Not from the album.
No one
and
you've collabed
no one I've collabed with.
Yeah.
All right,
No bias.
Right, so Tommy C.
Tommy C.
Tommy C. Aideen 2C. Wax
Hey,
White. They're
wait,
two.
Wait, one sec. Slow down.
they need to take it, you know.
Tommy C. Yeah.
Right, so Tommy C.
Yeah.
Wax White. They're a group. So they're 2.
Wax White.
Wax White. Ooh, I don't.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give him a chance.
No, listen to them. They're unbelievable. Wax White.
Is that a group?
Yeah, they're a group.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
How are you answering this question so easy?
Holy shit, man.
Yeah, but I've kind of collabed with everybody that I like.
That's right. And you're going to be difficult for Bernard.
It's not difficult, Jeff, but I want to give the right names. Wait, Shabby. I'm not collabing with Shabby, so Shabby.
Yeah.
Shabby, okay.
Yeah. You probably know Shabby.
What, Shabba Leon, did you say?
How do you spell it?
Yeah, Leon.
SHABB.
Yeah, Listen, you don't need to take Leon in. Leon is a bad boy.
Deadly.
He's a bad boy MC. He's from Ends well. Like, so you won't have to.
Is Leon Shabba?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that the brother you played in the car?
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I think you heard him. You played him in the car when we were going.
You played him in the
Yes,
car.
I did. 8-bar flow. Him and Scripter had the 8-bar flow. So you see, this is what I'm saying. So luckily, I've been trying to put these on bit by bit, but obviously now that there's more people here, I'm still new. Like, I'm still learning. Like some of the names that you said, I'm like, okay, put that in and I'll listen to them. But that these ways are super new.
All right, 2 more.
I haven't collabed with her. Right, here's a girl now. Now one more, because Matt's giving you his 2 on the Wax White. So right there, Alicia Ray. Because Wax White do their own separate thing as well. So you'll see they do battling and stuff. They're amazing. But Alicia Ray, she's unbelievable. Just to throw the women in there, she's brilliant. Have a look.
Alicia Ray, cool.
Or Alicia Tequila, yeah.
Okay.
Aideen smashed that, Wes. So you boys are.
Yeah.
I'm watching this.
They're trying to keep all their doors open. Trying to leave anyone out.
Just you lot as well. Just so to give people their flowers as well. Jordan's Extract freestyle. So Jordan did a freestyle for Extract Productions, and I'm not just saying this, and I said it to him personally. I'm just saying it, and I'm gonna say it now in front of like obviously whoever's listening. The best Extract freestyle, in my opinion, in my small humble opinion.
I mean?
My man, cheers.
That is
best freestyle in Ireland.
Do it.
I'm dropping it. That's one take. That's one take.
One take.
That's one take.
Listen,
Hey, one take.
I got the beat 2 days before. I got the beat 2 days before.
It's one of the, for me, it's definitely the best Extract freestyle, and it's such a cold freestyle. And also as well, flowers to Aideen as well. Aideen you got a number 1 in it.
And number 1, yeah. That was my first
you got
release.
a number 1.
Well.
This is
your trumpet.
Get it? You know what I mean?
3 days, boys. I did 3 days on the charts, number 1.
You got a number 1 in your first release.
3 days.
Hey.
Yeah,
For the first release.
Oh,
second release coming in
I need to level up. It's time for me to level up now. You know what I mean? I'm moving slow. It's time for me to level up.
CJ, can we just take CJ out and replace him with Aideen?
Yeah, join the podcast. Like.
Nah, but hey, that's dope. First time.
Thank you. Yeah, first time. A lot to come, you know.
That's what I'm saying. We're sitting now with, for me, yeah, like for me, I like the Irish scene. It's so new, and like I've been playing these ways like little snippets when we get together and stuff like that. Which has become a lot more frequent recently. Like we hadn't seen each other in a while, and then kind of I've been home a few times now. So, but yeah, no, it's been, like I said, it's good to have like another scene to kind of like, now I'm kind of immersing myself fully in the scene as well. But yeah, Guy and Bernard, you've got the most difficult job of the 5 because you've collabed with everyone. Now you've got a high collaborate, so you've got now
the Wiley of Ireland. Is it that Wiley of Ireland? As in he knows everyone. Like he's done music with everyone.
Bernard is the Wiley of Ireland. He is the Wiley.
I'll be Stormzy.
Don't let me get a chip on you.
I don't know, man. I really, really don't know. People that haven't collaborated with, that the songs aren't out yet.
No. If you've been in the studio with them, it don't count.
Fuck.
He is
major, isn't it? Right, I'd say, right, if I haven't been in the studio with them and I haven't got a song, and I think that from the underground, like obviously you have all your Jordxn and all them mad ones, they don't deserve, like they have their recognition, but from the underground, people that haven't worked it, I'd say Casey. I'd say D22, Mr. King.
Yeah.
Casey D20.
You've done the freestyle with him though, Bernard. You've done that freestyle with
Doesn't
him.
count, Jordan. Oh, Jordan.
Well, yeah.
I'm not calling you Jordan.
If that freestyle doesn't count, Craig Cooney.
He also is in the freestyle.
I was gonna say Craig. I don't know if you can count Craig because that's a bit of a I'll let you have that one. It's crazy, super dope. I'll let you.
Yeah, right.
Dope. He is super dope.
Joe Blaine, probably.
Who?
Joe Blaine.
Joe Blaine.
Do you know him?
No, funny enough. I'm shit with names. I really am. Like,
He's just Blaine.
how many do I have left? 2.
Yeah. Night. Yeah, you're right. 3.
Yeah, because you said he can't great. Yeah.
Like you can have Craig. You can have Craig Cooney, or let him have,
cool.
we'll let him have Craig because he's super dope. So I want you lot to check him out as well.
2 left.
I wish I could show him one. Young is probably. But
Right.
Quickly shout it. Just whisper in his ear quickly. Pretend we're not looking.
I'm saying artists now that are like just coming out.
Yeah, they're not. Well, I'd say Shabba then. Yeah, I haven't performed. I haven't done that with Shabba yet.
Okay.
Script is another one. Script
And
is
Scripty,
good.
yeah, I
Script
actually
is
say
good.
so. Scripty. I haven't
Script
done
is
that.
cold. Script is
Hey, is he like a lyricist?
It's just because I
Yeah,
genuinely,
yeah.
I've actually
8 bar
collabed with
rhythm.
fucking.
That's good.
That was a bad question for me.
T Cobbs, you know how we are probably in GDS. We're probably the grime people in GDS. When I told you 8 bar flow from Scriptar and Shabba gives me rooftop. It gives me rooftop like vibes, you know, and you know what I'm talking about when I it's giving me day show, it gives you serious vibes. So, and for me as well, to hear that from people outside of London is always strange. Obviously, grime is like rap is universal. Do you know what I mean? There's rapping here to France to everywhere. Do you know what I mean? But grime is quite a like and still is quite like a London thing. So when you hear it outside and you hear it and like it's done very well by like Shabba and it's done very well by Scripter. They, like I said, they go 8 bars. SBTV even fucked with it, so it's.
I'll definitely check it. Therefore, because grime is.
Did you answer that, Jordan? Did you answer that question?
Oh, bollocks! I was gonna just fucking leave.
I want to know.
See, like on my extract interview, they asked me the same question, and I'll give different names now for you guys, but the 5 names I gave were in no particular order. Evans Jr. I gave JLOL, which is a bit of a cheat, but Hyphen. Yeah. Hyphen's a fucking G, man.
Yeah.
The second king of the north. Hyphen is the second.
Wait till my song and wait till me and his song goes, and then we'll see.
But you can't use them, so you're not to just say
This is my old list. I'll give you a new list. I said Aaron J, and I said Ja. I said Ja 1 as well. But the new list, like, I've kind of just been scaring over, and to me, like, it's a weird opinion, but everybody's starting to sound the same and look the same to me. Like, they're all rapping over the same beats, saying the same shit, like, and it's all drill and no play. Like, you know, I'd love to see like a drill artist, you know, go on a fucking Do Not Disturb beat and tell me about how your ex-girlfriend broke your heart. But, you know, that's just my opinion.
But, C or something.
Yeah, everybody sounds the same. But the lads that I've had the pleasure of talking to, not work with though, that are very good to watch out for. There's a guy, Bubba Shakespeare is his name, Johnny Climax, Daly. Fucking Daly, can't forget about Daly. Right well as well, yeah. Both sickos, pure lyricists. That's what when you look up lyricists in the dictionary, them 2 boys pop up. There's so many to name. Fuck, what's one more? I need one more. I'm actually lost for one more, boys.
Say Slick Bullet or something. I'd say Slick or
yeah, Slick's good. Yeah. Fuck, I don't know.
Graham music. I don't know why I didn't say
Grahamo's unreal.
Graham,
yeah, Graham.
The stuff in the works, but let me tell you something. He's a really good artist.
And he only started not too long ago.
Yeah, he's really good.
Oh, there's another guy. Last guy, Martin Ocean is his name.
American Ocean.
Martin, Martin Ocean.
Oh, Martin
Ocean. That's a nice name.
Oh, okay.
That's my 5.
That's a solid list. Solid list. And just for
A lot of rappers.
now, just
Well, a
and
lot
just
of
for
good
the
musicians.
for the purposes of the show, I will give a 5 of Irish. You could tell me, as the people here who are from Ireland, who are in the scene, fully 100%. I'm gonna give you a list of names, and you lot can tell me if they're valid or not. Right. So my top 5, or not my top 5, but 5 that I would look out for. And I'm gonna take Shabba out because you lot have said Shabba already.
Like valid as in like no use or doing.
Now valid as in like these are like when I'd say these are names to look out for, you can be like yeah, or if you can say maybe not. So mine is Adelis. I think he's super sick. I think Young Simba.
Young Simba's good.
Yeah.
Simba's good.
Who did you say at the start?
Adelis, the Geppetto with a gun. I don't know if you've heard.
Adelis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm probably saying it wrong, and I've voice noted him like 4 times. And I probably
listened to too much. He only has he's only released an EP, but and I listened to the I think 3 on them, but yeah, they were good. Yeah.
I've never heard him before.
Nah, he's super
I think
dope.
he has
His
more coming out.
single.
If he has, I have to check him out more.
I have to give a shout out to my fellow Tyrone brother as well, Riz lad. He's an absolute sicko, but he's a good rapper and he's put a lot of heart into it. Yeah.
Yes.
Let me see who else we've got on here. I can say it because you guys have collabed with him, but Bill, vocally,
Yeah.
vocally,
he's unreal.
unbelievable.
He's
I don't want to spill too much, but he has some stuff. He has some stuff on the way, and it's really, really good. I hope he comes in on here. Actually, let me text him because Bill, he should be here.
Your name is
Bill's
Bill.
a rocket. He's unbelievable. Like Bill Connors.
Bill Connors.
Yeah.
That's his stage
The
name.
only song I think at the minute he has out on Spotify is on the Comix album. It's Take It Out on Yourself. He sings the hook, but he has some stuff coming as well, and the Spotify and stuff will be set up soon. So it'd be definitely worth giving it a look.
You can do the whole yeah. The sea breezy. You can do the sea breezy on the bitch.
Versy.
It's a versatile.
Versy, yeah, definitely.
Versy,
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
Versy's
Obviously, you've got your
Might
big
have
ones.
something nice
I was playing them cellos, my guy. Hyphen as well. Like I said, if he's the second king of the north. After ring him, he's the second king of the north. He is but I said me and him had a joke because he said the stuff he's got coming out is gonna shut it down. So, but I've also got an EP coming out, so you're gonna have to see. It's gonna be a fight for number one up here, but we'll see how it goes. I think he's definitely someone who will push you to make your best music. So yeah. But what we have done now, we have spoken about the album. So what we're gonna do.
Hold on. I got a question.
Good questions.
Time Major.
For the producer, I imagine.
Dude, I think Bill's coming on now. He's just waiting. I think the link didn't work from this whole time. I haven't checked my phone. They're just waiting there, fucking trying to get on. Oh, the poor thing. Bill Connors, yeah.
I just wanted to ask you.
I was going to say to Corey as well, but it's Corey's birthday today, and
he's probably lit somewhere, so you don't need to worry about.
Yeah. We don't want him on the fucking podcast here.
Yeah, well, I would have to stop the recording and just cut the cameras.
Oh, stop. Cut the cameras.
But yeah, go on, Major.
Go on, Major.
Should be
these lot get onto me, yeah, because my choice of music is a bit more old school in it, but
it's not a bit. It's
just
a bit.
Just in terms of like producing and bringing people together, yeah. You said you started last year in it, so just so early, why did you decide to bring loads of people together rather than pursue something by yourself first?
Because like
I started early. He's been burning.
Yeah, no, yeah, I've always been involved in music like my whole life. Like I was in the Dublin Symphony Orchestra, the Dublin Concert Orchestra. Like I play instruments and stuff like so. Music was always a revolving thing in my family and stuff. Everyone plays music, but I only started rapping. I only really started writing raps at the end of 2019, the very start of 2020, and I kind of had me raps that were out and they were okay. Like I didn't at the first few, you know yourself. Like one of them was deleted off Spotify. The other one's still there, but soon to be gone. I'd say like just because the quality, like it was recorded in a wardrobe, like on my headphones. Do you know what I mean? So like it wasn't the best. But I moved on and I was writing a lot. And like I said, like I knew a lot of artists on the scene and they weren't getting recognition. There was a lot of people like almost afraid to kind of step out and just meet these people or talk to these people. Like there's so many people that I know now that live around from me, like 15 minutes from my house, that I was looking at them on Instagram all the time and I didn't even know. And then when I found out they live beside me, I'm like, what the fuck? Like the amount of people that live so close and all. Like the reason I did it was just to kind of it came true, kind of just to bring everybody together, basically. Just to have a solid team behind myself, because I didn't have that many people that I knew in that way as well. So it kind of helped myself kind of with the people that I met. Like we were all really on the same level. So it kind of helped myself kind of build like a substantial base with everybody else and they kind of get a good network around like as well to start off. So I think that was the best thing ever to do, like I said, to start off, because now we all know each other. There's now a lot of songs, the scenes that are growing a bit more. There's people collaborating with each other from the album already, doing things themselves and stuff. So like it sparked off a few things now already, do you know that way? So everything that sort of the vision came true basically.
Just for so for Jordan and Aideen as well, what made you like so willing to get involved rather than obviously take the same just stick to yourself?
Do you want to go first, Jordan?
Ladies first.
It was just the whole idea of bringing everybody together and like the scene not being so full of ego, because at the beginning I remember looking at the scene and thinking, how are we even all going to connect? It was so clicked up. Anybody who was connecting were all in cliques and didn't really want to reach out and stuff like that. And it was kind of, it was just all ego. And then there was a few other people then who weren't ego and everybody was connecting. And then once I seen there was an album, I was like, well, this is a real way to network for all of us and just to get involved. And it's a body of work as well, and to see somebody else succeed and help that vision grow, you know. So that's what made me kind of want to jump on the album, like to help. He explained the vision to me of what he wanted to. He was like, look, I was at my back and I was thinking this, and I was like, yeah, definitely, I'm all up for it. Any way I can help, let me know. So it's just about helping each other.
I rate that.
I just got one question. Anyone feel free to answer if they want. Like off the back of like this album and what you guys have achieved, where do you guys see yourself like 5 years from now? Like what is it that you want to have achieved, or do you even place too much stock in thinking that far ahead?
I don't think about too much about how I'm gonna get there, but I definitely know that there'll be a lot more coming. I want to be doing gigs. I would like to be financially stable. I'm not looking for, like, I'm not saying like a millionaire in 5 years and all this mad stuff, but just enough to keep you going so that I can still do music and still actually do what I love doing, because I eat, I sleep, I live for music. Other than when I'm with my girlfriends, it's music. Honestly, like it's one of the things, and it's not like, it's when you love doing it as well. It just makes life a bit more worth it. Like it gives you something there to do. So to be financially stable in 5 years, doing gigs, meeting fans, writing music, and then collabing with people. Collabing's one of my favorite things. Even writing, if I'm doing something, I think I'd be happy genuinely. But we're definitely going to spread. I think a lot of people, if not everybody from the album, is going to do big things.
Good.
Thank you, guys. Now, honestly, you lot smashed it with the album. And I think what we're going to do now is we're going to open up to the wider scene. So we have spoken about comics and how well it's done, but now individually, now you lot are all stamped in the scene from whatever you lot have done. You lot are in the scene now. So now you can comment from within. So it's like it's easy for people who are outside, but it's like you said, like when you hear criticism, it's kind of like, how can you hate when you outside the club? Do you know what I mean? Like you can't even
You
get
don't
in.
even know what's going on. Like.
So what I want to know from you lot is that, because yes, as much as Bernard has brought something that is virtually impossible, which is how many people coming together with such a positive energy to make an absolute banger. Unfortunately, there'll be a lot of people hearing this and they will know that it doesn't always happen like that. Has anyone got, you'd have to say names, so I'm not here trying to get an expose from no one. Have to be, that person's a dick, that person's ain't shit. Do you know what I'm saying? But what, like, any horror stories from with, like, not horror stories, I ain't talking nothing bad, but like any divas or personalities you've worked with and you've been like, oh, this
Never
is
work with that person again.
Yeah, like I'm not doing this again.
Mainly when you work with them people or you talk to them people, you don't put out the project that you're at the
I don't really like generally meet up with those types of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because you'd get to know them over text message and you'd kind of do like you'd get to know them a bit, like, and then you'd go to the studio. I don't know, some people like
you know who's genuine, like you can pick up on it straight away, and then it might take you sometimes 2 or 3 times to meet up with them people to realize, oh, you know, they let the cat out of the bag then with something, they say something or they do something and a character shows and you're like, right. Or other times you just don't want to deal with them, so you know what the message are, you know.
I don't know.
There's not many of them like in our scene. Like, you know who's ego, and you just by watching the scene, even on social media, you kind of know where to step and where not to step, you know.
Yeah.
For sure,
I'd be quicker to tell you who's more like. You know
there's more good than there is bad. I have to say.
There's more good that in our vision anyway. In my vision,
definitely.
there's more good. I'm not saying the whole scene's great and everyone's a saint and everyone's good, but I'm not really focusing too much on the bad. Like in my vision, it's all good. Like so, it'd be a lot harder for me to say who's the negative.
Nah, for sure.
I don't think
definitely. That's over there.
Sure. It seems like you lot have got good energy and you lot what do you call it, you lot can't like be like, it's like you've built like a sort of community, like a team, and like you lot seem like you're moving forward together as like a unit, like all of your success is dragging the rest forward, and then say if someone gets a success, it helps all of you as opposed to just being a one for yourself kind of issue. But now, other than that, have you lot got any more questions? You boys got any more questions? And then I'll open it up a little bit further again.
Go on.
No, I was just gonna ask each of you, like musically, who's inspired you? It doesn't even have to really like carry into like the sound that you have now, but just like who did you really like grow up listening to? I just find that interesting.
Go first.
I don't mind. From 15 on, probably Ray Black and Wretch 32 and Bugsy Malone. Like it was more English. It was always English. And then I started discovering the American music and going back over that and down to the 80s into the 90s and just built my way up then listening to them. And then it was Jay-Z, J. Cole. I like a lot of like Black Thought. There's a few of them like that I really like enjoy, but mainly Wretch 32 and Ray Black and a few others then from England, you know. But Bugsy Malone was a big influence for me.
Yeah, Bugsy.
Yeah.
Just something as nice as funk. Oh, what were you saying?
Oh no, sorry, Scraps as well, boys. He was unbelievable.
Which two Scraps?
Church Road Scrap.
Jeez.
Scraps and Nines, you know.
Yeah.
Scraps?
Hey, you know.
Yeah, Scraps.
Oh.
One Chance and all, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my days.
Oh, and do you know who else as well? Fox Brum. I don't know who's listening from Birmingham. He's unbelievable. Yeah.
I was not expecting.
I think Bill is trying to get it. Oh, I think CJ has on there. He's saying the. I just like anything with a bit of funk in it. Like I always grew up with like I was never really heavily involved. I never really heavily liked rap growing up, not major. Like obviously I liked the main ones, obviously Eminem and stuff and or whoever else. Like I loved a big influence when I started rapping though. There was a lot of big influence like J. Cole, Stormzy. There's a few. I think more songs influence me more than people. I think.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be necessarily like this person's influenced me. It's more like these songs from a collection of people. So it'd be hard to tell. But growing up, I liked a lot of Ed Sheeran and a lot of bands and stuff and different types of music. It wasn't always rap.
Is it more to do with like the period of time you were in, and then the song you kind of attach it to that moment when you hear it, or is it kind of like the whole sound and everything that inspired you? If that makes sense, do you get what I mean? As in like periods and times, like Ed Sheeran, at one point you couldn't avoid him. It's literally everywhere. So it's kind of like you enjoy listening to him, and then you're kind of enjoying like your personal life and experiences at that time. So it's like when you look back, it's like Ed Sheeran. It's like you're like a big influence on you, or is it? Do you know what I mean? Is it more of like your personal experience? Or
I'd say Ed Sheeran, there'd be more personal experiences. Yeah, like I think Ed Sheeran was a big one, definitely. Again, there's just so many great artists. Like I wouldn't even. That's what I'm saying. It's more songs that genuinely I'd be connected with.
Nah, dope.
What's your favorite song of all time?
Oh, we have to do one of it. Everyone has to do this one. I like that one. Everyone has to do it.
Favorite song of all time. I don't know. You go, Jordan. I'm stunning you with it.
Favorite song of all time. I don't know, man. This song.
That's a hard one, man.
Like, to be honest with you, I've
Yeah.
Jade or like Tin Lizzy or something like this. Like that, where if it was like
It's the cowboy song or something. Thin Lizzy.
that dancing in the moonlight and fucking all this shit. CJ, I'll tell you, I'm a huge Drake fanboy. Like,
He is Drake's biggest fan.
fanboy. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, probably some rock shit or some Drizzy shit. To be honest with you, yeah.
Go on, Major. What's your one?
Heavy metal lover boy.
I can guarantee it's from the 90s.
Who's to say? Go on.
It's from the 90s, 100%.
It was before he was born.
It was before, I'm telling you right now, it's from before any of us were born.
I don't know what year it was made, but it's definitely probably before I was born. It's Tupac and Snoop, two of America's most wanted.
Oh my God.
Of course,
One of my favorite tracks.
You died before you was born.
What's your opinion about my music taste? I like it, and I'm gonna listen to it.
Friday.
See, bang on.
I really think Tupac in Somalia.
The conspiracy theory, Tupac, is he still alive? Yes. Well, I don't know. What's guy made that guy in T Cobbs? What's your one? You got one song, that's it. Like,
Can't pick, you know.
One song.
One song I can't pick. It's too many.
like your Spotify gets stuck tomorrow and you've only can listen to one song.
And I'm not listening to music anymore.
Yeah. I'd have to listen to like a long freestyle. A song. Song.
Yeah, like,
One of my favorite songs.
American Pie.
You're doing me so wrong.
Scraps is one more chance. I'll be up.
Yeah, Scraps is one more. It's there, but this is.
For me, that's a hood classic. Like that is a hood classic.
That's
like,
a tune.
Yeah.
you can't escape. Like as soon as you hear that the intro alone, right? Like as a Biggie fan, I thought, and I hate when people rap over Biggie beats, and it like I hear it, it just makes me cringe every time. But then you hear Scraps and Chance, and you're like, this is not only done so well. Like this is worthy of being in the conversation with the original. But
I'll go mover ringtone.
I knew Tony. Like, listen, if I can guess everyone's here, right, from the GDS boys, Majors was always gonna be something that was from the 90s.
American rap.
T Cobbs was always gonna have one that was about people killing each other for sure.
Ringtone is
I
not
knew
about killing anyone. It's a very PG song.
And I know NK,
Your family, your kids,
NK is not good. It's gonna be an R&B tune. It's gonna be a Sweet Boy song.
Chris Brown, goodbye. Is that what I go for?
That's why I drink some Magnum, boy. Tell you that.
I'm telling you, it's
Magnum
something.
Pappy.
It's gonna be.
Nah, I don't think so, man. Like, obviously it's horses for courses, isn't it? Like on a different day, it depends what I'm doing. Like, if I'm in a bad mood, it's gonna be some Trippie Redd or XXX or something like that. But if I'm on a positive thing, it's probably gonna be J House.
Which song?
In the mood I'm in right now, which sounds a bit mad, but it might be XXX, Justin Flores. I don't know, it's a bit depressing.
That's a banger. I told you it's gonna be some Sweet Boy stuff though.
He's in his feelings. Look at him. That's why he's got the Juventus top on.
He's a young man in his feelings. I told you.
Bill Connors.
What's happening?
The one now.
The audio listeners, because people say to me, we can't see the visuals. We can't see the visuals. For the audio listeners, we have now got Mr. Bill Connors, who has joined us. He wasn't here in the beginning, but he's here now. So we are going to catch him up. Bill is on track 3 of the Comix album, producing some quality vocals for the track. First and foremost, congratulations on the success as well. We've congratulated everyone else who's here, but congratulations to yourself as well on how well it's done. First and foremost, jumping at the deep end, was it difficult working with Bernard? Was he a bit of a diva, or did he...
Be honest.
I won't listen.
No, listen. To be honest with you, it was the first time I ever worked with anyone in the music scene. Genuinely, this was the first time I ever worked with anyone in the music scene. And I'm grateful to Bernard for giving me the opportunity to hop on a track.
You got lucky, to be fair. Lucky your first experience working with someone who's genuinely for the scene. So that's usually a real helpful sort of thing for, like, working. If your first time working with someone is someone who genuinely seems to care about the scene and how things are working. In terms of yourself, how did you come? So this is for Bernard and for you as well, Bill. The hook on the song, did you write the hook? Did Bernard write the hook and you performed the hook? How did the creative process? Because I always find it's quite like an interesting dynamic when you have a vocalist who worked with like a rapper, but also as well, Bernard's quite vocally in tune as well. And from some of the patterns and some of the covers that you've done on Instagram, I could tell you're also in tune with the lyricism as well. So I want to know how that kind of came about writing the like hook for the song.
Well, look, originally it was originally I wrote it like you know what's going on. Why don't you take it out on yourself or something like that? But it was very dull. Like, it was a different vibe of a song before I got Bill and before Paulie jumped on, because it was like, I know, you know.
Yeah.
It was like a real low type thing. Like, and then Bill came out of nowhere and just like he brought it to the studio. Like he twigged it and stuff, like, and he just put a whole different melody onto it. Like he really did. He fucked that shit up big time.
Yeah.
He did a deadly job. Like,
yeah, exactly.
One of the best. Swear to God, one of the best vocalists that I've worked with so far. One of the best vocalists.
Nah, for sure. It seemed like an organic energy. Like you could sort of hear when people write songs And like in terms of, especially when you get people who sing and rap together, you can sometimes you can feel if it's organic or not. And I think sometimes with rap, there's a bit of a competition. So people are rapping together, and you can tell that even though there is a positive energy, it's a positive competitiveness, but there's still a bit of a competitiveness. But when someone's singing a hook and when someone's like rapping, you strip that back a little bit, and you get to see if there's like a genuine connection to the music. So yeah, it was good. It was interesting to hear, and it was good to see yourselves like working together. Jordxn had to go, as he just had to go. But he just wanted to say thank you to everyone.
I was looking at it for a second. Where's Jordxn gone?
To be fair, you did say he's only had
That was
like 3
it.
hours.
We asked him to name his favorite song of all time, and that was it. The pressure was too much. He'd had enough. He just said, I'm sacking this off.
Nope.
So, Mr. Bill Connors, as you've walked in on this bit now, you have to now give your one song, your favorite song of all time. So you have one song, you have no Spotify, no YouTube, nothing. You just get one song to listen to. What song are you going with?
Oh, Jesus.
That's how we all felt.
Go quick. Brian Adams, Heaven.
Solid vocalist. A vocalist picks a vocalist.
Oh.
So I think that's a solid shout. I think that's a solid shout.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
He's a vocalist, but you should hear him rap too. Like he's not shy to announce a few bars. Let me tell you that.
Yeah.
He can rap.
Jordan was saying you got a little sea breeze in you still.
Yeah, he said that you got the R&B soul in you. So we have to. I can't wait to hear it. Like I said, I heard a few Instagram clips, but
I was telling him about I was saying you have some projects. I didn't want to give away too much information, but you know.
Listen, I was saying I still have to post an awful lot of stuff. Yeah, like I'm only really kind of starting to open up and putting it out there now. But once it gets on Spotify and I get more traction, we all work together and we just kind of get it out there.
Yeah, for sure.
What stopped you from putting it out like in the past? Like, what's been the most difficult thing to kind of the biggest hurdle for you in terms of getting music out and stuff like that?
It was kind of basically I didn't know much about kind of putting it out there. Beforehand, it was more like I'll post a little video on Facebook or I'll send it to a few of my friends or whatever. I didn't know much about any platform.
Okay.
So you're now kind of just getting into the mix of it and understanding a bit more.
Exactly.
That's
the
dope.
proper foundation,
yeah.
That is dope. Aideen, so to us now that we have never sat in the presence, all four of us, maybe separately at separate points in our lives, but we've never sat with someone who's had a #1 record. So in the whole of the country, your song was #1. And that was your first release. So talk us through that a little bit, man. I want to know.
The night before I went #1, I was at my back and I was having a few celebration drinks or whatever, and everybody had left. And I was locked, and I was in my kitchen, and I was saying to my mom, my brother, and my sister, I'm gonna go #1 on the Elton John time. Just got this little ego trip, just messing or whatever. I was locked, and so I walked out and I high-fived my sister. Last thing I remember saying, and I went to bed, and I just heard boom, boom, boom coming through the door. So I thought there was a raid happening in my house, and I just heard, "Get the fuck up out of the bed." Sorry, I don't mean to curse. And
you can swear. we swear.
What's going on? I thought I was gonna, I thought I was gonna get dragged out of bed or something. So I just heard, "Get out!" It was my man, and I was like, I thought someone was dead. Then and I said, "What's going on?"
It's just the worst thought ever to happen.
I'm only awake.
She's a man. She thinks someone's dead.
It's 10:30 in the morning, like door getting shot. And anyway, so I run downstairs. I was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" She was like, you're fucking number one, you're number one. What? The paparazzi are outside, but she was only messing, do you know what I mean? But what was I going to say? She was just delighted, and the whole community knew before I knew. So I was asleep, and it was all over Facebook, all over Instagram, and I hadn't got a clue. And then she was saying, everybody's out like celebrating and ringing me, and like, you're the only one that doesn't know. And I stayed for 3 days. So it was amazing. I couldn't believe it, you know, my first release. And
I'm glad we got in there. I mean, and then she went number one.
The price has gone up now, Bernard. You can't afford them features now. The price has gone up.
But it does.
What's the name of that song?
Tree Smoke.
Tree Smoke.
Tree Smoke.
Tree Smoke. Oh my days. No, it's because I was listening to it.
Like tree, like
tree.
Yeah. Tree as in TREE smoke, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sick.
What a song. Fucking film.
Yeah, no, and then I'm gonna go release my second one soon, so that's called Southside. So it's, I think that, in my opinion, this one's better. It's way better.
It's a level of
yeah, definitely.
what your next one? You think your next is better?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's all about improving, and I won't release a song unless it's up to a standard, you know, that I'm after. I have a vision in my head, so. But yeah, it was deadly. Like, it was unbelievable. 3 days sitting at number one, and I kept checking it, and then I went down to number two then the fourth day. So I got number two for a day as well. So I saw it, but it was nice.
The way you done the beginning bit, cool, because of the energy, like, catches you straight away. The energy is like really cool. The vocal, everything. I was like, yeah, got me.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
You know what happened in the studio?
Yeah.
Ari, do you want to go ahead?
No, go on.
I was in the studio.
I wasn't there, so
the producer said to me, say the intro like you're talking to a friend, and I just looked at him and I was like, I wish I could just tell one of my friends, do you know me, because I'm just excited about it. And he turned around, because first single to put out, and I knew this was the one, and he said to me, ring one of your friends then. So I just rang Chantel out of the call list, and that's why, like, she's so surprised on the phone, you know.
Okay.
It was amazing, like, the energy in the room, like, so she didn't know I was ringing. That was out of nowhere, and she was actually the second person I rang, so
yeah,
it was between two people. You're the one missed out.
She missed the play. That could have been her voice.
She could have went number one with me.
Tree Smoke, it reminds me of like a mist song.
When I heard the song, Aideen, I heard it at midnight, innit? So I know I'm an energies person, innit? Like, if a song gives me do you know what I mean? I feel like there's a time and a place to listen to all kinds of music, innit? I heard that song at midnight, and I got to about 20 seconds in, and I turned it off, and I said, I'm not listening to this before I go to bed. I'm literally, I'm in my pajamas. I got my face mask on. I know already. I was ready. I was out. I was tapped out. I was like, I'm going to bed. And I heard 20 seconds. I was like, no, I'm turning this off. And I know this. I'm not going to bed after that.
I respect that.
I went to bed, and then I woke up, and I was like, right, because I have like usually. So when I travel to work, I usually have a list of people that I want to listen to. So I slap them all in a queue in Spotify, and I just let it play. And I was on the way to work, and I remember I was sitting on the bus, and the bus drives about 40 minutes, and the song came on, and I was like, oh, okay, so this is a you have to like to appreciate the song fully. And I think the fact that it's done number one, and you haven't even been able to perform it or be outside of it. Like if you were in a club and you heard that song, like that song is like, all right, cool. This is a club banger for sure.
Energy carries on throughout.
Yes, definitely. But there'll be more number ones in anyways, you know. So it's all right. Like, so we're gonna be alone. But this next one as well.
Someone who had a number two album on as well. So it was number 2 and number 5. So for me, that's in terms of like seeing people who obviously I'd never met none of you lot in person, but obviously we're sitting here talking and like you're saying, look, it can be done. And there's gonna be people who are younger than you who are gonna see that both of you, like all three of you are gonna see, cool, like you don't need to be a millionaire to put out a project and get people together who genuinely have the same interest and love in music. like that. And I think
Course,
Yeah, definitely.
that for me is more dope than the numbers or the accolades that you've shown people, because we've grafted, we've all put in time and effort, and we've made something from nothing. Like it's not like none of you lot have got a massive cosign. It's not like, do you know what I mean? Drake has come
Yeah, it's
down the
organic.
chair to music. Do you know what I mean?
Just doing our thing.
I think that's a big shout. We as the
I think that's why
GDS podcast, sorry, just to break you lot up.
Natural from
Yeah.
it. Like.
What's that say?
No, I see. That's why I pushed. I think that's why I did so well. I think because you can really sense the genuineness from it, like from everybody, from all the
Yeah,
artists that met
definitely.
up, and you can sense that it was easy to record with each other, and it was just an easy flowing album. I think when we were on the studio, so I think that's what the vibe itself made it do so well. I think,
Yeah.
and the
For
artists
sure.
that were on it and stuff. Everyone together like a big community.
But I was only saying to Bernard earlier on, like, to be so young and to release a body of art like this, a project, and with so many artists on it, and it's all full of collabs, and to be able, like, every single song, he was meeting everybody else's vibe, because they were coming onto his project, but they were bringing all their different styles and, you know, their own uniqueness, and he matched everybody's. He, like, not met a lot of people can do this at that age, you know what I mean? And so for him to be able to do that and then create this vibe that was also so no ego, and we're all comfortable, and we all come together and network from this and build from this and let this be the foundation, is unbelievable for being 21 and to do that. Like, he doesn't get enough props for that, you know? So
No, yeah,
he's definitely a pioneer in our scene.
I appreciate that big time. But it is also like the people that like yourself and Bill and everyone else who joined the album. Like, I think they deserve all the much as credit as I do as well. Do you know what I mean? Without them, there wouldn't be no collaboration. That's the whole point. You know that way.
Yeah,
You're a
I do
legend.
respect it big
You're a
time.
legend.
Nice.
collaboration mixtape.
So,
till I was
Ben, I'm going to ask you now the impossible question, and I know you're not going to answer it, but we have to ask it because this is what we do on the GDS podcast. We just have to ask uncomfortable questions. What is your favorite song of the EP, and who has your favorite verse, other than yourself, obviously?
What, you can't be asking me to answer that question.
Look, put it this way: everyone had a killer verse, right? So it's not, you're not saying no one had a bad verse, because you wouldn't have put it out if you thought they had a bad verse. So people should take anyone that's listening who was involved, whatever.
Go on. I think there's something for everybody on the album. There's boom bap, there's guitar, there's acoustic vocal vibes, there's trap-ish vibes, there's a club type of vibes, which is our one. There's a bit of even, it's like a mad Afrobeat one on the nasty. Like, there's something for everybody on it. So it really, really depends on my mood. But I don't know. If I was to say like a hidden favorite of an overall song, I really closest to my heart, I think Certainty. I think I love that one. I really do. It's not taken away from any of the other songs, though, because it's such a hard choice. Like, because Pages, because Take It Out and Illusion of Fear, and I could just keep going. Like, you know what I mean? There's so many. No, the verse one, the Sinners Undercover as well. I love that.
Yeah, tops.
My opinions will change when the videos come out and the projects get bigger and stuff. Like, there'll be a lot more, like, I could love something else even more because this is at the going this way and stuff. Do you know what I mean? But I think if I'm like vibe, if I was to put on any song all the time, I think for me it's Certainty. That vibe, like, of if it was sunny out, if it's raining, if I'm chilling, if I'm not, I just got Certainty. But I always listen to the album through and stuff. I love everyone's work on it. I think everyone killed it, like major. Everyone came on with their A game. There was no messing, like, and I think it was because everyone was so comfortable as well, in a sense. Like, everyone was just so comfortable. We already kind of like as if we knew each other years already, and it was just having fun in the studio at the same, but keeping it professional, like keeping it, like we knew what we had to do at the same time of being fun and relaxed and stuff. We still got the work done, like, in the end. So I'm grateful for everyone that I met on the album, genuinely. That was a hard
Phil,
question.
man.
to
No,
answer.
that's dope. That is
Bro.
actually dope. I know. We have to ask the difficult questions, and that's what we're about. Like, listen, at the end of the day, it's a killer project, so yeah,
I
you have
appreciate that big
to
time, man. I do.
take practice to it. Um, there was a few other questions we had just before we get to a bit of GDS housekeeping. Actually, I'll do this first, and then we'll do the questions afterwards. So the GDS podcast has an up and coming playlist that will be out this week alongside this episode with yourselves. The GDS podcast want to shine a light on those artists who are up and coming, so are completely independent. The criteria to be on the playlist, sorry, is that you have to be completely independent, so you're not allowed to have any kind of major label push. You have to still be what we would consider up and coming. So I'm not talking about if you're sitting on 1 million streams on Spotify and you think no, and you don't feel like you've got the recognition. This is not for yourselves. It's for people who are looking for more of a shine and more of a platform. If you do want to be involved or have a spot on the playlist, ladies and gentlemen, please send us your Spotify links, because the playlist is exclusive to Spotify. Send us your Spotify links, please. Do not send us SoundCloud links. I've had to turn about 17 people away for sending us SoundCloud links. We are not doing a playlist on SoundCloud. It is Spotify only.
It's 2010 stuff.
Please make sure that the recording quality is up to standard as well. Do not record it in a bottle. We do not want to hear that. Like, it's just like I said, there's ways of doing things, and like I said, I know everyone has a come up story. Like you said, you recorded your first songs in the wardrobe. Mine was a PC mic that the headphones broken off on. Do you know what I mean? On the friend's laptop. So everyone has a come up story, but that's not that. Like I understand that, but this playlist isn't for that. We want it to sound quality. All the songs will be listened to by ourselves. We will hopefully be doing a critique on the songs at some point. We'll get us all on here, and we'll critique the songs on the playlist and stuff like that, giving them scores. But we will offer people the opportunity, and we will try and get a song of the week going. But that's probably down to myself, and I can't guarantee it'll be every week, but it will be some weeks. But who knows? But like I said, send us in your Spotify links. So Instagram is probably the best place to catch us, but you can also catch us on Twitter, Facebook, and our email address, which is the GDSpodcast1@gmail.com. Plug.
Brilliant.
Yeah, in terms of another thing I wanted to ask you lot, and I don't know if the GDS boys know this, but there's a big phenomenon in the Irish scene, which is a lot of people are getting criticized for, and it's splitting everyone down the middle, which is the accents thing.
Yeah. Straight
I
away.
knew you were going to say that.
Just stop,
The
man.
accent thing.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm not gonna lie. I used to sound English. About 2 years ago, I had an English accent because I listened to so much Bugsy Malone, and someone said to me one time, "You don't sound like that." And I was like, "That's my voice." They were like, "No, you sound English. Record yourself." And I had to change my whole thing, even the way I wrote everything. It's so easy to happen because we're listening to English music constantly.
It does.
Yeah.
does it
One of the main things, because
when you hear it?
there's not a light shining on the Irish scene. Yeah, like there's not a big light shined on the Irish scene. So we're growing up listening to American and English and all these places where the light is shining. So it is hard to fall into that trap. Like we all have like growing up and you're singing songs and all you're doing is covering other people's songs, like Ed Sheeran, and doing these things throughout your life. You're gonna pick up those accents, but it kills originality for us in that sense. Like, because I think Ja won't. Best answer that's the best answer I've ever heard. Ja won't give it in an interview, and it's the easiest, simplest answer. It just kills originality. Like if we're Ireland, I have nothing against anyone else's style. Like I love American, I love English music. Like I love all of them, but like we're Irish, so we don't want to be. It's great if we adopt certain things and we use certain and we mix and stuff like that. But as an Irish sound, we need to be original in that way. So when there's a bigger light shine down on the Irish artists, there's going to be a lot of artists, people growing up listening to Irish artists, which is going to cop on. It'll grow much bigger. Like I didn't listen to a lot of Irish artists 2 years ago. I barely knew anybody. I knew like the main ones. Like, and then now all I listen to is Irish artists.
Yeah.
And now all I know is Irish artists. So it's the light that needs to be shined on, so we can expand on the originality. I think definitely.
My
100%.
nephew is 14, and he told me the other day that all they listen to now is mainly Irish music with a little bit of English music, but they predominantly only listen to Irish music, which is amazing because when we were growing up, we never listened to Irish music. It was always
almost
the English
cringy
thing.
or something to listen to, wasn't it?
It was cringy to rap. Like I never got slagged in school, but like people used to be like, "You're rapping," do you know what I mean? Like, and look at you differently, and especially being a girl doing it. But now it's like, oh, she's a rapper, you know, like that's deadly. Like, so it's accepted now.
I remember doing like little rap battles years ago out in the yard in school and all. People all be like, "Oh, you rapping? Oh, you rapping? This person gonna rap against you," and all. And you'd be there spitting like whatever you had, you know what I mean? Just any bullshit you could think of, and everyone be like, "Oh, this is sick. This is sick." You know what I mean? Like it's mad to look back now. Like,
yeah, it is.
I think it's so strange seeing this because as boys who grew up in London, we saw it, so we kind of experienced it through crime. So kind of see it again. It's quite strange. It's that you kind of like get to see a second come up of a second sort of scene because growing up, there wasn't really an infrastructure for anyone like doing any like kind of music, and then all of a sudden you had Boy in the Corner by Diddy Oscar, which is I saw today's 18 years. Which
18
like,
years.
18 years.
Yeah, that's
so isn't to be chucky on that.
As somebody award.
And that's the thing you're talking about. That was probably in our lifetime the first time we'd seen someone from the UK.
Yeah, global.
Yeah, I mean, it was a body of work. Like it was the videos were glossy, the vocals were crisp. Like it was MTV based, Channel U staple for years and years and years. Like even now, you've got like people don't even know like what I Love You by Dizzy Rascal, what that song like sort of did like for like your early years, and then you had your Skeptors and who literally were killing it, absolutely killing it. And now you've obviously got what the English scene is today, which is people able to make millions and change their life. Do you know what I mean? But it kind of started out with people sort of at youth clubs, playground, wherever, kind of everyone. I know, like us boys going to school kind of in East London as well, like everyone had a 16 bar. And everyone had a stupid name to go with their 16 bar.
Definitely.
Yeah. Everyone had a stupid name. Everyone had a stupid tag name to go with, and they had a 16 bar that they spat like any beat, anything. They had like a 16, and it was just that was their 116, and they used to go and say that 116. So I think that like seeing that like you guys are kind of up from like way up from that. Like that was just like the beginning. Like that was the birth of a scene from people moving from rapping in an American accent and everyone trying to sound like Tupac or Biggie, and now you've got people growing up wanting to sound like Skepta or Wretch 32. Yeah, I'm saying like, and then now you guys have got your kind of your own team that is still like, yes, there are. Yeah, there's people who
paved the pathway for it. Like that's the.
We're gonna be the Skeptors and the, you know what I'm saying?
We're gonna be
literally.
Not slowly, but we're gonna be the first ones to step
we
up.
We were actually saying this before, weren't we?
Yeah, we were saying that's the whole point of it, like to just be able to throw my little brother and the likes of his friends and all these like, all the youth and all the people like to grow up and hear Irish music and to hear like cultural Dublin rap or vocals or anything to do with Irish. That's not like pure Irish music you'd listen to in school. Like it's not like I don't love that, but like there's a lot more to music when it comes to Dublin and Ireland rather than the bowron or a violin. Do you know what I mean? Like I love that music, but
The new generation, new time.
Yeah.
This is like the new
Yeah,
wave.
and
That's
Yeah.
Definitely.
Nice.
Definitely.
For sure.
Do you guys feel pressure being at like the forefront of something new? Like, do you feel any pressure to?
Excited and eager because we're watching all the other scenes. So America is that's established years, and then you have
they've been established before we're born, man.
And then you have England, and so we're looking at generations of different eras of different executives, different people under control, and looking at what we want and what we don't want from that, and being able to form our own scene around that. And what we're also seeing in our scene at the moment is, and you can also see that on social media and stuff, is that there's a lot of big branded names that are like, managers and all stuff working with each other rather than keeping their artists away from each other. Everybody's actually kind of reaching out now and saying, well, hold on, this talent actually goes with that talent. And, people are coming together, and there's nobody's kind of frowning upon each other, and if somebody doesn't like somebody else's style, well, then it's kind of left over there until they grow, or they'll help each other. So it's nice to see that happening, where I didn't see that happening with other scenes coming up. Like, I went back and myself personally,
there was always beef and stuff, wasn't there? There was always gang.
No, there is in Ireland, don't get me wrong, there is people beefing. You can see that D24 against Blanche and stuff, but not in ours, so in our side of the scene, there's none of that. It's all like just love and come together and collab, so it's nice that we can bring that forward for the generations after us.
There's no room for negative views. There's no time really. Like, there's just no time. Like, we're all here. You know what I mean? We're all just living life. So why do you want to waste the one life that you get focusing on negative shit? There's no time for it.
I think it's good that you guys are actually all like working together, collaborating together. Because if we're being honest, like the way grime is now, I feel like the scene isn't like, it's not a popular sound. If you get what I mean, because there was a lot of fighting amongst themselves when they could have all just worked together and pushed the whole sound. That's their time as a generation, like they're the forefront of it, instead of like fighting each other and all of that. So it's good that you guys are all working together.
Yeah. Nah, I tell you, someone who kind of, I've, similar to yourselves, I always made music, and from young kind of wanted to make music. But I think what the difference is from you guys to what I had, and even though there's not much of an age gap between you, so I'm making myself sound proper old here, but I'm not, is that the difference is that in England, our come up was pirate radio. So people didn't know what you looked like. A lot of the time, you didn't know what people looked like. There wasn't like a social media, there wasn't a YouTube, there wasn't a video. People just you had to kind of guess who was on radio at the time, and sometimes you get you catch a glimpse of like Deja Vu, and you have Titchy Strider's like iconic verse on Deja Vu and stuff like that. And then, but also as well, like I said, it was difficult for people to come up, and there was a lot of gatekeeping. So I would remember a friend of mine who was like into the scene you had to pay to get onto pirate radio. So like you had to pay £10 subs, what they call it. So before you get to the door, you give them the guy your £10 and you get upstairs. You get upstairs and you think you're gonna spit a verse. And I remember we went and he paid his £10 and he thought he was gonna get a verse. And then in through the door walked Nasty Crew, and Nasty Crew had just got a spitter who's obviously now known as DWE, who's probably one of the most potent grime rappers. But at that stage, that's what I'm saying. Like the minute he came out and was doing that ooh, and that was it. And as soon as he walked into the building, the DJ was like, "Yeah, forget your £10 subs." Like there was a load of kids there. Look, forget your subs. DWE and Nasty Crew got the mic, and that was it. And you spent and a lot of boys just spent there 2 hours. You spent £10 2 hours to sit up there, and you thought you was gonna get the mic, and them boys went past you. They weren't gonna be like. They weren't like, do you know what I'm saying? Like Bernard, like if like you can imagine if Bernard's in that room, he'd probably have passed the mic to one of those guys.
I feel bad. I'm standing there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but sometimes that was it, and that you had kids who were like,
we're still quick to take it back off them now if they're not.
Yeah, listen, I'll take my £10 back, or the whole place is getting.
Listen, you've seen what Heat FM looked like. There was no way you was getting your £10 back. At 14 years old. you were not getting even grown men that was running these stations as well. It wasn't like they were like it was like, and they were because they were pirate radio stations. It had to be kind of run because it's technically illegal radio. It had to be run a little bit like backdoorish.
I'm getting some drugs. I'm plotting in, then I'm calling the police. The whole place is getting locked up. I need my £10 back. And I'll be the eyewitness, so they know it's me.
Like I said, it happened to me. I tried to go to the one in Edmonton. I swear I told you about the story. I tried to go to the one in Edmonton, and Scorcher walked past me as I paid. It was £5 to the one in Edmonton, and it was like £3 for the train. So I paid £8 to get up there. And Scorcher walked past me. Literally, I was 15. He literally walked past me. He just come out of jail. Walked past me. Walked straight past the guy who's taking subs. Straight upstairs. And I'd already given the guy my money. And I looked up and I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm not getting.
Not tonight."
Yeah,
not tonight, lads.
Even the guy at the door looks like you know you're not getting a verse tonight, innit? Like no matter what you've written, I had my pad there. I'd rehearsed it, and I'd been rehearsing it on the train, and I told everyone I think it was still BBM these times, and I told everyone I'm on tonight, boys. Like, listen, and it was a Wednesday as well, so I thought to myself, I'm lit. And then at the time, Scorcher was in and out of jail, and he walked past me as that. I think it was one of his first days out, and I was like, shit. Back home, just take the L and just keep it moving. But like I said, the scene, how you lot scene looks is so much more positive and so much more bright. It's amazing.
Those stories are still funny to look back on and think about. Have anyone got what do you call it? Any more questions? I think Barry's got a question. And then we'll wrap up.
Just because I don't want it to sound rude when I say it, but your accent's quite strong in it, being from London, and like the London accent and the American accent are kind of similar in it. So like, if we're to go to an American accent, you get Londoners basically just put on the American accent. Americans kind of shit our accent, but they attempt it. I don't think you can do the Irish accent unless you're Irish. So how do you think it would sound if you say you went international concert and you was touring somewhere, England or America? How do you think it would sound when people are singing your songs?
I understand that.
Yeah, it'd be a mad concept to think about. I'd say the time will come and we'll feel that definitely, but everything comes in good time.
Well, like when you fuck with a song, like you don't even try, like it just happens, doesn't it?
The accent, it's very prominent, but it can be done well. Like on a song, like I try, like you can't be on a track. What's the story, mate? I'm from Dubai, and you can go off on it like that, but no one's gonna know what you're saying. Do you know what I mean? You can talk fast like we do, but no one's gonna know what you're saying. So, that was one main thing for me with comics, and kind of clarity and pronunciation and really saying the words. So I think it's going to be a lot easier for them to understand, to be able to put the words back, and rather than just filling their ears full of a mad accent that they've never heard before. They don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
that's that nice balance with it.
I think it's just one of those barriers you have to accept, to be fair. Like how London and the UK is accepted with the American accent type of thing.
But even with England, like I listen to Bugsy, I find myself attempting a really bad brown accent. But then if I listen to like Tupac, I have a really bad American accent. But like an Irish accent isn't something you can just roll off. So like for me, I'll be singing along but my accent. So if you had like
I think that's mad to hear.
Yeah.
On the different accents and stuff, like to hear the songs back, I think, and people even trying to put on your accents to kind of cover the song, like I was saying earlier. Like I think that'd be so mad, like to hear. Like I never thought of it in that concept. It'd be cool.
Definitely comes with the slang as well. I think to pick up on an Irish accent, it should be you start with the slang, and then that's when it all comes out.
Yeah.
So what's some slang that I should know to get me started?
School. He'll throw something in there.
A score, isn't it? A score is 20k, but that's just
Yeah.
like everyone. I'd say you would say that as well, this.
Yeah, score. What's
Skull.
the crack?
What does that?
Mm.
Oh.
What's the crack? That's weird hearing that in English accent. Say that again.
Wait, Skull isn't like.
What is the crack?
What is the crack?
What is the
Oh,
crack?
yeah. What's happening with you?
What's the story?
What's the story?
There you are.
You can say whatever you want when you have a glass of whiskey, anyhow. But
Yeah.
the thing is, there's the thing about the whole as I was gonna say earlier, but the thing with the whole scene is there was a time still when the English accent or the English way of rapping the accent that was still kind of looked at how am I gonna kind of sound like that when I'm obviously not from there.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a thing with the Irish rap scene, artists, whatever. When they come up, it kind of people will kind of get used to it and kind of will start to kind of get the feel of it. But it takes time, basically.
Yeah.
I think it does. When I used to listen to artists outside of London, even when the first time I heard Bugsy, it was weird, but because I was so gassed by the music, I was gassed by the freestyle. It's it was even better because it was different. You know what I mean? So as long as the music is good, people will fuck with it. People will take the accent and they'll enjoy it because it's part of what makes you different. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it will be a big obstacle for people, to be honest.
No, I don't think it's
I'm not gonna pretend like it wasn't.
No, it's obstacle, but it's just
I think the saying doesn't benefit from it in Ireland. It's the saying wouldn't benefit from it if everyone in Ireland just start rapping in American accent or an English accent. I think if art is art at the end of the day, and if that's what you are actually doing as an individual, you're probably not for the scene. You're just making the music. Fair enough, do that, but stick with it. Don't change it over halfway through it. If you want to rap in an English accent because how you rap, stay that way. Then don't switch it to an Irish accent. Then be try for the scene then, because it doesn't work that way. You know that way. You can't be.
You can't be for this.
You gotta be authentic. You gotta be authentic. Because even London accent, it's not accepted in America even till this day.
Original, it
is what it is. But because London is authentic, they're still going international. They're big and stuff. It's still
from it. I'd rather listen to someone from London rap like London. You know,
but they're mixing originality with downloading slang. So there's a lot of Irish artists in Ireland that are using the English slang, and that's making them sound English, even if they're not using an English accent. Does that make sense?
Like they say,
So the that they're putting in their music
it's English slang with an Irish accent.
Yeah, and it's
that's
still
fine.
not authentic,
still
and
not good.
You know what I mean?
So it's all right, but it's still not authentic. It's still not original to what we'd say.
Yeah.
So you'd be saying, I couldn't even know too many English saying, but even down to I'm gonna be making pigs and stuff that's pounds. So if we're saying in an Irish accent, unless you're actually making money in England,
we're making euro.
Yeah. I've got you. So you should. It's kind of like your day.
Against it, art is art. Yes, rhymes. But that's the only thing off the top of the head. There's lots of things. I'd say pays you get away with.
There was a lot of things at the beginning of our seeing to build the foundation. They used a lot of English, and now they're trying to get rid of the English and replace whatever they were doing with Irish stuff. So everybody they're starting to speak the language, and you know what I'm saying. So it is growing. It's just taking its time, but it's progressing a lot quicker than last year.
Exactly.
Every year it gets faster. Keeps building,
and that's what it's all about as well, growing.
It's going fast as well. I swear it was like this, and for ages it was like that.
Yeah,
and then
literally.
all of a sudden it's just
shooting up.
We're noisy neighbours.
I swear, it really is.
There you go.
And someone said it to me long ago. The Irish ain't anywhere and all. I actually felt offended a little bit by it because I was saying, mate, you have no idea where this Irish scene is about to go. From the people I know alone, never mind everyone else knows, I know alone with the people that I know, the people who I haven't collabed with and everyone else, the scene's going somewhere in the next max.
I think 5 years.
Minimum it's going somewhere.
Yeah.
Given 5 years, because of the way social media is built now and stuff, it's
it's bound to explode with social media.
As someone who's from London, living in Ireland, it's nice to see. It's I get to feel I get to feel it again. Do you know what I mean? That feeling of it's buzzing, it's bubbling here. Do you know what I mean? And there's stuff to maneuver, and everyone's new. It just it gives you a buzz again.
Yeah, definitely.
It's exciting, really.
do you feel like you have an advantage in our scene because you're not in a lane with anybody else? I know there's Leon, there's a few other English artists like with like, you know, the English town, the English background, but like you're not competing, like even though there's no competition over here either, but like you're not in the same lane as anybody, and you're like in a market where there's not many English men either. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, do you feel like you have an advantage in the sense of like releasing content and music, because the audience is drawn to you for your English accent, being in Ireland, but experiencing Irish living and what we go through in Ireland?
I would say if I lived in Dublin, I think I'd have an advantage.
Yeah.
Only because, one, I've been rapping for so long. So I've been like writing lyrics, albeit absolute shit ones, but I've been writing lyrics from about 7 or 8. So I've been like, this has been like a long progress to get to where I am, to a point where I feel like I'm comfortable. And like I said before, with also having the grime background of it being a competition, like when you're in a room with people. So it's nice to get to a place where you don't feel like you have to be in competition with people, but what they say, still sharpen still. So being in a room with people and like you get into rap with them and get into MC with them, and you're like, all right, cool. And then someone says like a killer verse just before you get the mic, and then they hand you the mic, and like the beat's about to drop, and you have to match that energy. Otherwise you're getting, and you hear it, and people say, DJ stops the track, and he looks at you, that he just gives you a look like, yeah, pass the mic, you ain't cut it. Do you know what I mean? And this is what I'm saying. Some people are paid for experience. So I had that competitiveness, and so I went in, but I feel like the scene in Dublin is at a point now where it was in London, where it's like it is so like it's to the brim. Like it's literally, you guys are, I think, one major hit away from the whole scene like erupting. And when I'm talking like it's growing now, but I'm talking about a global hit will put you guys in
Dizzy Rascal.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like if they had, like if there was a Stormzy Shut Up, but like an Irish version of like Shut Up by Stormzy, or like, do you know what I mean? Like, not saying that someone should aspire to do that, but I'm talking about purely numbers wise.
On that level, yeah.
Yeah, that I'm talking about. Like, I think the Irish scene, we could be talking in the next 2-3 years, you could be looking at millionaires from music alone. So I feel that I would have an advantage living closer to maybe the epicenter of Irish.
You need to get yourself to Dublin.
I know, but the problem is I'm in Tyrone. I'm one of 6 rappers. So there's 6 rappers in Tyrone at the moment, right? That I know of. There might be. There's that bedroom. There's that a couple of bedroom rappers, but there's 6, right? And the problem is that I've got to a stage now where I'm comfortable in any room. So you can put me in a competitive room with a mic, and we can go bar for bar. We can go 8, 16, 32, 64. And I can go back to back with whoever. I'm that confident.
Yes.
I'm also confident in a space where I can make music with someone. Like, for example, I can get to that place of, let's sit down and make a song. Like, let's do that. Like, let's be nice. And like, do you know what I mean? And let's work together to build something. I think NK is about to jump off. But yeah, I'm at that place. But in Tyrone, there isn't that at the minute. There isn't that kind of energy that you have, Bernard, or that you have, Aideen, or that you have, Bill. Like me and Riz and Genetics were due to make a song. And we were down, and like I said, they're up for collaborating, but there are a couple of others are not really. They're about kind of, I want to make it. I want to be the first from Toronto to do the numbers, and I want to be the first from. And it's not gonna work like that. Toronto's too rural of a place. You know what I mean? Like I said, there's 6 of us. Like there's 6 of us who are putting on. And like I said, there could be more. There could be more, but it is what it is. And like I said, like Riz, shout out to Riz lad as well. He cracked 100 streams on Spotify, 100,000 streams on Spotify. So he's like, he's
amazing.
blowing, like he's doing
Amazing.
big numbers. His TikTok is like, it's just him doing mad shit. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he just bought a skateboard like a couple of weeks ago, and he's just on there doing some jackass level shit. But he's funny, authentic. Like, he's basically like every other lad that grew up here, but he raps. You know what I mean? And his songs are sick, and Genetics is the same. And you can tell those boys are hungry for it and they want to work. Do you know what I mean? But the other boys, and I won't say their names because obviously free clout and all that, but I've been in the room with them and I've recorded songs with 2 of them, and those songs are nowhere to be heard. And they feel like they feel like if it's almost like an insult if you try and outperform them, not outperform them, but you come with your best on a song, you should almost be pandering to them. And I don't think you can hear on, just to bring it back to you lot's album, none of you lot was scared. Like, Bernard wasn't scared to let you lot shine on you lot, on your verses.
Yeah, that's
hooks. Like, he was
that
happy
brings us back
to bring your A game. But whereas when you feature with some of these boys up here, they don't really want you to bring your A game. They want you to bring, as long it's okay if your A game isn't as good as their A game, but if your A game is on level or above, they don't want to collaborate.
They want to see you do well.
They don't want to know you.
Yeah, that's it. They want to see you
I
do
really
well.
would, like, because if the beat's on and I'm vibing to it and it's going great, and then Aideen just comes onto the beat and like slays it, and she does way better than me, I'd say it has to go on the track.
Yeah. It's
You'd
bigger
be
than me.
excited if someone.
I'd be more excited that
Yeah.
the track's gonna do even way better
Yes.
now, because that sounds fucking fire as fuck.
literally.
Do you know that way? Like, I'd be way more excited to have something better on the track.
There's none of that like you're doing better than me or anything like that. It's like, if you're doing better than me and you make it before me, well, I'm gonna like celebrate your win.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're like-
Even if I'm not with you.
We'll all have a
Win.
drink. If
We're
one of
like
us
a roll.
celebrate, we'll all have a drink together. Fuck it.
We'll all have
We'll
a
all
drink.
have a
Yes,
drink.
definitely.
Yeah, bro. We're
And that's
on
the
the
way
road
it
down
should
to the
be,
same
you know?
place.
Yeah, it's better
That's
someone
it.
you know do
Do you know what I mean?
well.
We're all-
That's what I said.
Like, I'd rather, if it's for the next man or the next woman beforehand, then let it be. That's how it's meant to be. As long as one Irish person or somebody's doing something to help our scene grow.
If it
like,
impacted, them, or if it influenced them in
Like-
any way, then
let's
And
do
how
it.
I try to explain it to people up here is, like I said, from the London scene, it's like, all right, cool. From So Solid Crew, to even if we go back as far as So Solid Crew, they were the first group out of South London to kind of do things. And if they didn't do that, you would have never have got Section Boys. And if you never got Section Boys, you'd have never got Krypton Conan.
yeah, I always respect the OGs.
Conan,
Genuinely,
you'd have never had Stormzy. And if you like, and that's the knock-on effect it has. That from So Solid Crew doing 21 seconds, you ended up with Stormzy having a world tour, a sold-out world tour. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there is progression there.
The knock-on effect.
Opening doors.
And it has to be that way. And like I said, I'm never scared. Like I said, being a teenager, being in the same rooms with people like legendary names like Scorcher and DWE, and seeing these boys, and I'm talking about these are boys that are known, like, there's a term in London grime which is set killers, which is, if you put them boys in a mic on a radio set, they're killing it, like, no matter what. Like, they're well versed in doing that. DWE doesn't even have to rap anymore. Like, he doesn't have to do any grime. He literally just comes on and goes, ooh, and that is an instant, that is like, and people don't understand. When I say it to people are like, oh, what? He doesn't even say anything. And I'm like, watch one of his live sets and you understand the energy, like the energy that people, like, I can't even like explain it. Like, you just see people are like shaking like crackheads, like literally waiting for him to say that one, and that's it. They'll spin it back. He doesn't even have to say it.
You'd have to witness it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that I say to people, being in those rooms, I'm not scared to MC with anyone. Like I said, I'm not scared. And in fact, it excites me whether that like I said, you can walk into a room like you guys did and it can literally be all friendly, and that's sick. Like, I like that vibe as well. Like, and it's like, cool, and that makes for great music as well. Like 100%. And being not competitive. Sometimes it is. Sometimes competition is tiring, but you guys having that, it makes organic, fun music, and
But
you
it
get
does drive
tracks.
you. You need like a little bit of competitive.
Yeah,
Like,
Of course, rap started competitive. It wasn't. It didn't start as. It
but
started
it
as.
doesn't have to be vicious. Like you can be competitive. You can always want the better for yourself. You can always level up from what other people are doing and try to take the best from it. But it doesn't only need to be vicious when you're being competitive in that way.
Oh,
Like
for
if rap
sure.
battles are all good and this is, and if you're having fun, you could say this and that. That's art in its way, but it doesn't
It's
need
like-
to be vicious. So like I think that's where people got mixed up in the whole lot, and that's where all the badness started happening because they're taking it to heart, and it's not more about the art anymore. It was more about their feelings, and it blew up. So you just have to look at it as it's art, and you should never let anything get in the way of creating.
Yes, I don't take it personally. It's just for the greater
And
good.
I've never taken anything that's happened to me in music personally. That's a lie. That's cap. That's big cap. I've taken something personal. Do you know what I'm saying?
Unless
I'm not
someone's
gonna
on a
pretend like-
track like completely fucking you up, like you're just like, what the fuck, like, do you know what I mean? I just
thing-
ignore it if it was that bad. Like I just ignore it. Like I wouldn't even. If someone dissed me, I'd probably have fun in this back. But if someone was being vicious, like next, do you know what I mean?
One of the
I wouldn't
things-
give it the time.
One of the things that basically the Bangers and Mash remix, I put out like a video and I seen Burner obviously got in with another artist, and genuinely I was so happy for him. I was like, yes, one of us got it. You know what I mean? That's no fake bullshit. I'd say that to Burner, and even if Aideen got it, I'd say to or anyone here, whatever, I would literally be happy for them that one of us got it. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. I like
Yeah.
one little thing and just put it out there and listen. A few people listen to it, whatever you can do to kind of put your name out there. Don't try bring anyone else's name down ever. Do you know what I mean? That's one thing I learned personally. But
Oh, 100%, bro.
No,
100%.
for real, guys. I can just say this has
Bro,
been.
as well, like you know yourself on the real quick, you know yourself what you have coming out. When I was down the studio last time with you, and you know yourself what I'm like every time I hear you in the studio. I'm always vibing, always pushing 100%. This one's trying to do like numbers. Everyone is from, like I said one more time, everyone from the Comix album is so original. Everything is just so unique. There's something on it for everybody, and a lot of work, a lot of hard shit's gone into it. So look, I appreciate it so much, and it'd mean the world if you'd even just give it a listen all the way through. That's just my message to you.
100%. Bernard, you're like Dr. Dre in a sense.
Because
Oh, stop.
you put together
I'll
an
take that
amazing
one.
project.
Yeah, I'm not gonna take it, but I appreciate that one, brother. Thank you.
Nah,
In
that's
years to
you
come,
got
we will
done.
talk about this, like the chronic.
Yeah, well, fair. Yeah, I
Nah,
won't take
for
that one
sure,
yet.
I
I
think-
said that's. I did. I won't take it.
I think people. I think will look. I think people will look back at, like, for example, I always think about it like this, right? There'll be a documentary made at some point, right? And at some point they will talk about certain things, and then of course they'll talk about there's things happening now in Ireland, the rise of drill, the accent thing, but they'll talk about stuff like this. And like I said, the fact that you guys, like I said, this would be a sick project if it had 10 views. Do you know what I'm saying? But what I'm also glad for is that it has got the accolades that kind of go with it, so that allows people to.
Saying that the day before release, I was the exact same. I was sitting at the back garden with my girlfriend Jodie, and I was saying like, there's a lot of work that's gone into it, but at the same, like, I'd be very disappointed if it didn't get the ears that it deserved. Do you know what I mean? If it didn't get out there, but I was still very proud of it no matter what. Like I took so much time and I took so much energy, and a lot went into it for me and all the other artists on it, that when I listened to it through like 2 or 3 times before release, at the day before, like with the headphones, I was just stuck in a daze, standing in the middle of my room listening to it right the way through, and I just kept picturing myself in different scenarios, like gigging with them, listening to them in a pub or stuff like, and it just, the feeling from that alone was one of the best things ever. So to see the recognition, to see the iTunes, the Spotify doing well and all, it just gives me, it's just the greatest feeling ever as well. To see everyone else's numbers go up as well, like the likes who was on the album and stuff. It's really, it's something else to see, like when that many people are connecting.
Nah, for sure. Guys, you guys have been absolutely fucking amazing. Just want to thank you. First guests on the GDS podcast. It's usually just us lot chatting
It's
shit.
an
But you
honor,
lot,
brother.
Thank you for having us.
Absolute pleasure. Sorry for being so
Have
late.
this one, boy.
I couldn't get
Nah.
work on time, but pleasure, honestly.
No way. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, everyone listening, go and listen to the Comix Volume 1. It is on all platforms. If I do not believe, I don't use all platforms. But
Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Music.
also as well, they don't know this, so I'm just letting them know now. Like, this is a exclusive for them. There will be 2 songs from the Comix Volume 1 that will be on the GDS up and coming playlist, and I think we'll probably stretch it to 3, and we'll probably have Illusion of Fear. We'll get track 3 on there, and we'll get track 3 and we'll get track 1 on there, just as a thank you for you guys. So hopefully we could in some way
Thank
help.
you so much.
And that's listen to those songs.
Appreciate it.
No, thank you.
Listen to those songs. That's the level that we want for this. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't, like I said, I've heard you lot don't understand. I've had some. Listen, I've been listening to some. Well, some people are recording it with their toes. I'm telling you, there's been some shockers on there. I'm like, listen, I'm happy for everyone to make music and do what you love, but come on, if there's put a little bit. For me, nowadays, the infrastructure that's there for everyone across the world, like there's someone's got a studio somewhere. Do you know what I mean? And there's people on Fiverr charging you $10, $15 to mix and master your song. Like, it doesn't take everything. Like, it doesn't take a whole heap of money. Like, but what it takes is you having love and care for your craft, and what you can hear from the people that are on there that they love and care for their craft. So that's the level of songs that we want for this playlist, guys. Don't be no more bad. After this episode ends, no more bad music.
That was setting the bar, bro.
No, for sure. And once you finish listening to their songs, Bernard has put other songs on Spotify. Aideen has also got songs as well. Tree Smoke is an absolute bad. Make sure you don't listen to that before you go to bed.
That is a vibes, yeah.
That is a pre song only. Do not listen to that. Don't drive your car
before an exam, before bed.
Yeah, you're driving your car. That's what I'm gonna say. Once you finish listening to their song as well, little shameless plug in there as well. Go listen to Summer Bop. We are on the cusp of 20.
Summer Bop, what a tune.
So go and listen to that as well. I put a lot of time into that one. So
respect.
Look out for these guys in the future, man. Hopefully we'll have you on again at some point.
Definitely.
I have to pay for that one. That's the, you know.
Honestly, anyway, soon the price is gonna go up, and soon Bernard's gonna be telling us, yeah, my people get in contact with you, and then we'll never hear from you. That'll be the end of it. We'll be like, yeah, my people will get you. And
that's let me build your house, Bernard.
I'm not in the UK at the moment.
He'll get you. Bernard's gonna hit us. Yeah, my people are gonna text your people, so we'll get it going, and then that'll be it.
No, that'll never be it.
No, but listen, guys, it's been absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming on. Like I said, we are the GDS podcast. You already know the grind does not stop, won't stop. You know we are the, and you know you have to go get that shmoney, baby. Listen, we over and out. Thank you very much. God bless.